Hello guys, it's Max again, and I'm bringing you an updated to Blue Eyes White Dragons post Duelist Advance. So there's just a little snafu at my local card shop, the one I go to. They put in an order for DUAD, but they didn't receive it this week, and they got a mix-up. But apparently a few other stores had that same problem where DUAD was pretty sold out, I think, for pre-orders for OTS stores. But regardless, I did manage to get my hand on the boy Kaibaman. So I decided, I'll just throw together this first draft profile, see how I like it and how you guys like it. Keep little spoiler, this doesn't have the Primite stuff just because I didn't get the Primite Fusion or the spell card, and I need to get back my playset lore loads, so if you guys do want to help out, please do that. But other than that, let's go ahead and show you guys this profile. As you can probably see, this will be a Blue Eyes Fiendsmith package deck profile. So that out of the way, let's get into it, and let me know how you like the new Sonic map. We got a different one coming soon. For starters, we have the Blue Eyes monsters. We played the one Blue Eyes Chaos Max for two purposes. One, in this version of the deck, you can summon it, but it's also used to summon out our big boy Magia, which we have in our extra decks, because unless you're playing a ritual version of this deck, why are you playing this card? So next we do have the 3 copies of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. You get to finally feel like Kaiba, flexing all 3. Don't worry, I do know the OTS has the ultimate rare, which is really weird why they would remake that when it just got a QCR printing, but I guess to follow Sage, who got a QCR, that's that. But so we will be getting the OTs in due time. Following up, we do have the OT Sage with Eyes of Blue, playing him at 3 because you have to. Searches out your level 1 light tuner monsters in the game, and you can use him by targeting a face-up effect monster you control, sending him to the graveyard for cost, and sending that effect monster to the grave to summon the Blue Eyes from your deck. Next, we do play the 3 Maiden of White, which is still self-explanatory. Helps you get your true light and summons herself when you summon the Blue Eyes. And if she's targeted for anything, summon the Blue Eyes monster, a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your graveyard, or a light level 1 tuner. Next, we have the legend himself, like looking in the mirror. It's Kaibaman, the legend. So for his effect on summon, you can reveal 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons from your hand, deck, field, or graveyard. And then if you do, you can summon a Blue Eyes monster from your hand, deck, or grave. And I believe banishment too. Let's just double check. Yep. You can summon it from your hand, deck, or graveyard. His other effect is that when you summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can banish him from the graveyard and then add a Blue Eyes monster from your deck to your hand. So it's a better way to search out Chaos Dragon. The other way we had was Priestess, which I do still have, and helps to get a body on board. Fun little fact that in the graveyard you can chain his effect and then chain Maidens, so if they would try to impulse this or ash this, you have chain blocks for that. Next up, we do have the Fiendsmith stuff. I know you guys are probably tired of seeing this engine everywhere. I know I am, but it's still one of the best engines to play in the game, so we're going to utilize it until Konami eventually gets the hint and cuts its power level in half. Next, we do have the non-engine being the hand traps, the 3 Fuwalos. Even though this is a going first deck, you still want to have a form of Maxi in your hand, so playing this is very crucial. Next, we do have the obligatory Ash to help stop the opponent from doing just about anything with the deck. That's it for the main deck of monsters. We get into the spells now. I do play the 3 Wishes for Eyes of Blue, your search card and your 1-card starter essentially, and you can banish it to equip a Blue Eyes monster to your Blue Eyes White Dragon. Next, we do have the 2 copies of Fiendsmith Track to be able to search out our Lori or even our Engraver if we need be. Now for the Blue Eyes section of spell cards, I am choosing to play in this little tech one, being Bingo Machine Go, just because this is Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is still Brick Eyes deck, and you know, since we are now having to run a 3rd brick, well 2 essentially, in the deck in forms of a 3rd Blue Eyes and Chaos Max, you want to try and minimize as much bricking as possible. And you know, this card is still a thing that's in the Blue Eyes archetype, and you can search it with wishes because it does mention specifically Blue Eyes White Dragon in its card text. So for those who don't know what this card is, you reveal 3 cards to your opponent that either mentions or has Blue Eyes White Dragon in its name, and your opponent randomly chooses 1 to add to your hand, and the others just get shuffled back to the deck. Next, we do have the Mausoleum of White, just for the combo, and then we have the Ultimate Fusion to go into our Magia, and then we have the 1 Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, just to help get your Blue Eyes from the graveyard deck for banishment, wheresoever it be, and you can also banish it to fusion summon a monster using Blue Eyes as one of the materials. Next for our power 1-ofs, we have the Cross Out, the Call By, and the Triple Tax, just because they are still strong. Now for the traps, we are still running the True Light as you should, to help Blue Eyes do well in the grind game, and to help get your cards out the deck that you need that specifically mention Blue Eyes. And while this is face up, Blue Eyes White Dragon cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Next, we do have the Blowout card, which now does quite a lot more damage with this version of the deck, being Majesty with other White Dragons. You reveal Blue Eyes from your hand, field, or even graveyard, and you pop that many cards your opponent controls, non-targeting, so you can get over monsters that have targeting protection. And just because this, and it has a secondary effect from the graveyard where you can banish it, just like Roar. You can ritual summon a monster by using, I believe, Blue Eyes material. I do have to read that because it's been a while. Yes, you can banish this card, ritual summon a ritual monster by attributing Blue Eyes White Dragons from your hand or field, whose level equal its level. So it's just graveyard version of chaos form. And then we do have the Fiendsmith in Paradise, just for the Fiendsmith package. And the last hand trap being the 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence to round off the deck to a clean 40. Let's move off into the extra deck. We have the 1 Necro Crypt Princess to go with our Fiendsmith package. We still play the Blue Eyes Tyrant just because we can easily make it from 2 ways, either by its own effect or actually using Roar or Ultimate Fusion. We have the Fiendsmith Desiree to negate cards. We have the Ultimate, and we have the Dragon Master Magia. Yes sir, finally trying to play this card, just because it's a hell of a boss monster to get out, and once it's out, your opponent pretty much has a hard time dealing with it unless you know they kaiju over it. But if you don't know what this card does, I'll read it out for you guys so you all get it. You have to fusion summon it using its materials. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can quick effect to negate that activation, and if you do, you destroy the card. You can only use this effect in response to each card type, monster, spell, or trap, and once per turn, if this face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can summon 1 Blue Eyes monster or Chaos or Black Luster ritual monster from your extra deck or graveyard. So yeah, you get to negate 3 cards each turn, 1 of each type. So you can't do negate a monster, negate a spell, stuff like that. Next for the synchros, only run 2 of it, being the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon and the Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, to stop multiple summons, stop graveyard effects, and then tag out into this, which prevents your opponent from banishing cards from our graveyard and can negate a card effect that's face up on the field once a turn. Then we do have the DDK Wave Caesar for the Fiendsmith package. Next we have the 2 Blue Eyes Spirit, can't really go wrong there. We have the Fiendsmith Requiem. I play the Link Spotter just because if we do have Blue Eyes on the field and we want to try to get into our Fiendsmith stuff, we can use that to go into this, which can then help go into Moon of the Closed Heaven because she requires 2 effect monsters. Next is the Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spears, the Moon Goddess, and the Fiendsmith sequence to fusion summon into our Desiree. But that is going to be it for this video. Post Duelist Advance. I guess I could show a little combo. I've never really wanted to do this on this channel, but you know, some of you guys always ask for it, so I guess I'll try it. We're gonna start out by thinking our opponent doesn't have anything. We're gonna normal summon Sage. Sage effect, we'll get Maiden. We'll use Maiden, sending her to the graveyard to get the True Light to our field. We'll then use Sage for the link summon into our Blue Eye Spirit. Blue Eye Spirit's effect will search out the field spell. Very good. We'll use the field spell to get an additional normal summon, but before that we will use True Light to set the wishes. We'll use wishes to discard a random card. We will get to our hand a spell or trap that mentions Blue Eyes. In this case, we could do Ultimate Fusion, and we will grab the one and only Kaibaman. Well, with the additional summon off the Mausoleum, we will summon Kaibaman, use his effect to reveal all 3 Blue Eyes, God, Tongue Twister, summon a Blue Eyes from anywhere. We can then use wishes in the graveyard to send to the grave to equip Blue Eyes with the Ultimate Dragon. From this point, you can either use Blue Eyes and Ultimate Dragon as a fusion summon into Tyrant, or we can just use these 2 as a link summon into Hieratic Seals, but you know, I kind of don't recommend that. So what we're going to do is we're going to sync these 2 off into Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. We will use Spirit with Eyes of Blue to summon out Blue Eyes, and because we summon Blue Eyes, we can summon Maiden. Summoning Maiden here doesn't really do too much except give us another fodder for link material, but that's completely fine. And at this point, we can actually go into the Fiendsmith stuff. So, with that in mind, we'll use the Blue Eyes to summon out Spider, use Spider and Maiden. Oh wait, before all that, whoa. This doesn't change. Well, the plans can keep going, but since we summoned Blue Eyes, completely forgot, my bad guys, we'll banish Kaibaman to add to our deck the Chaos Max. Now we will do the Fiendsmith combo, as I was alluding to. Go into Moon, use Moon, go into Requiem effect. We'll summon out. Where is she? We'll summon out the Lacrima effect. We'll dump this. We'll use the Fiendsmith Requiem to make into this. Summon out the Necropit Princess. We'll put back the Moon of Closed Heaven to summon out the Engraver. We'll use Engraver and her into our Wave King Caesar. And for our opponent's turn, we can just set the ultimate. Well, for our coming up opponent's turn, we can set the Ultimate Fusion in order to summon out Dragon Master Magia next on their turn. So with all that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy the video and this little combo tutorial. In case you haven't seen any profiles or combos of it yet on YouTube, just because a lot of people were asking for it, as I've said. If you guys enjoyed this, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more content. I will have a Regenesis profile coming out right after this, post Duelist Advance. And yeah, if you guys want to support me financially so I get cards faster and get better equipment, Donation links to my Cash App or PayPal are down in the description. Please check it out if you're so kind. And share this video with any other Blue Eyes players, Fiendsman players, or people that just like to try the Chaos Max, what have you. But I'll see you all in the next video.